Next up, we have Tetris Attack, an incredibly fun and addictive puzzle game starring the cast of Yoshi's Island. What could get better? Unholy Knight, a fighting game based on Monster Hunters developed by ex-SNK staff. Slow, choppy gameplay and sluggish controls, however, make this virtually unplayable. Super Alfred Chicken. This is a platformer released in 1994. Has decent controls, but has some tedious puzzle segments. Otherwise, decent game. F1 Rock 2 Race of Champions. Compete against 25 opponents in this behind-the-car F1 racer. Climb the ranks by winning races and upgrading your race car. Sound isn't the best, but overall, a fast and fun racer. Adventures of Dr. Franken, a platformer where you play as Frankie and must reassemble his girlfriend Bitsy after she was taken on their vacation. Frankie's attacks are awkward and he takes damage easily. Not the best platformer on the system. Up next is Doomsday Warrior, a fighting game that incorporates interesting level up mechanics after matches, however it is a kind of a bland fighter overall. Okay, we have The Hunt for Red October. This is a shooter where you control a Soviet-class submarine to fire torpedoes, surface-to-air missiles, and bombs. A mildly entertaining game. Space Ace, an action game where the hero Dexter must save Kimmy and the world from the evil Borf. Maddening auto-scroll and difficult puzzle levels make this one for a very poor experience. Spectre, pilot a vehicle through cyberspace and blast your way through levels, grabbing 4 flags to progress. Various modes available add some variety to this simple gameplay. Mortal Kombat, a slightly disappointing port of the gory fighter. Blood has been removed and fatalities have been altered. Stick to the Genesis version if you have it. WWF Royal Rumble, a significant update and improvement over WWF Super WrestleMania. Signature moves and championship modes are back with this one, along with some gameplay improvements. Definitely a great wrestling game. Addams Family Values, a top-down action-adventure game where you control Uncle Fester unleashing lightning bolts on foes. This is a flawed but serviceable title. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Eye of the Beholder, a very ambitious first-person dungeon crawler with nice sprite work. The dungeons themselves, though, are the problem, with invisible barriers and hard-to-find secret paths. D-Force. Pilot a D-Force nuclear Apache helicopter in this 1991 vertical shooter. Some cool power-ups, however, due to the immense slowdown, makes it not a great play experience. Okay, up next we have King of the Monsters, put out by SNK. This is a fighting wrestling game with kaiju-type monsters fighting in landscapes of Japan. Mario's Time Machine, an educational game starring Mario. Definitely a game for its target audience, but nothing more. We have MechWarrior 3050 here. This was put out in 1995. Pretty cool mech combat game, but very difficult. Top Gear. Race against 19 opponents through 32 tracks across the globe. Great visuals, catchy music, and simple controls make this an outstanding racing game. Next up we have Wolfchild. This is a 1992 action platformer where you control the protagonist Saul, who can transform into a werewolf to battle foes. Decent but fun action game. Next up we have Double Dragon 5 The Shadow Falls, a fighting game starring the characters from the classic beat 'em up. Very lackluster gameplay. Not worth your time. Pilot Wings, an action simulation game where you compete in challenges from hang gliding, skydiving, to piloting light aircraft. Has some solid pacing and peaceful atmosphere. Tenstar, a shooting gallery game where you control the newly appointed robot sheriff, Tenstar. Beautiful cartoon art style and a mix of fun levels make this one a King of the Monsters 2. 3 surviving monsters defend Earth from alien monstrosities in this sequel to the original fighter beat-em-up. Fun game, albeit a bit short. More fun with 2 players too. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. This is an action simulation game where you are a Starfleet officer in training. Missions are varied from piloting the ship to establishing diplomacy. Pretty good game. Super Empire Strikes Back, the sequel of the first where you control Luke in the levels of the movie like Dagobah and Cloud City. Mostly side-scrolling with vehicle sequences. Not a bad game, but very hard. Next up we have Daffy Duck, the Marvin Missions, an action platformer where you control Daffy Duck in the 24th and a half century! Challenging but fun platformer. Up next we have Jurassic Park, which is an action-adventure game controlling Dr. Grant with some good top-down outdoor stages and first-person indoor areas. Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball. This is an arcade-style baseball game that includes some simulation elements like stats and abilities and has decent enough gameplay. Alright, we have Nobunaga's Ambition. This is one of the many Koei strategy games based in 1500s Japan, involving politics, economics, and war. Speedy Gonzales, Los Gatos Benditos. Speedy must save all the mice in town that have been kidnapped by the Los Gatos Benditos. Has functional controls, but levels are sparse and not inspired by the cartoon. A fairly standard platformer. Stunt Race FX. This is a 1994 third-person polygonal racing game sporting the Super FX chip for 3D graphics. Offers 5 vehicles and 4 modes of play, competing in circuit races. It has a choppy frame rate, however, excellent course design make this one worth a try. Tecmo Super Bowl, arguably the greatest sports title ever made, with intuitive, tight controls, highlight reels, and real NFL teams and players. Wonderful game. Aladdin, a very well made action platformer where you control Aladdin navigating the various locales of the movie. Very good game. I just need the cartridge and the manual. The Lion King, a 1994 platformer based on the Disney movie. Beautiful animations and solid gameplay, however, can have deceptively difficult stages and enemies. Super Return of the Jedi, the final game in the trilogy, follows the plot closely as you navigate side-scrolling and vehicle stages as Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewbacca to battle the evil Empire. Next up we have Wing Commander 2, The Secret Mission. The player pilots one of 4 ship types in a first-person pseudo-3D environment. A variety of missions and simulator aspects make for a fun experience. Dezaimon, a Japanese exclusive vertical shooter where you can create your own ship, music, and levels. Ultimately, this can take a lot of time to learn and use. Thankfully, it has its own shmup built right in to enjoy. Next up we have Pugsley Scavenger Hunt, platformer starring Big Brother Pugsley of the Addams Family. Beautiful graphics, but the frustrating gameplay make this for a very poor time. Nolan Ryan's Baseball, a competent arcade-style baseball game but with a few problems like not getting much distance out of the ball when it is hit or thrown, as well as wonky fielding. Next up we have Prince of Persia, the 1992 platform puzzle game where you control the prince navigating traps and fighting guards to save the princess. Super Star Wars, the first game in the trilogy based on the film. Fun but challenging side-scrolling levels with a third-person vehicle stages. Very hard game though. Wario's Woods, a puzzle game from 1994 that's similar to Tetris and Dr. Mario, where you must align the same colored creatures to progress. Very fun puzzle game. Out of This World. This is a side-scrolling action platformer and puzzle title that utilizes strategic and precise platforming that can be quite difficult, but overall rewarding. True Lies, a top-down run-and-gun shooter based on the movie. Some labyrinthine levels, but satisfying gameplay with an assortment of weapons at Harry's disposal. The Wizard of Oz, a platformer where you control Dorothy on her way to Oz. Sluggish and cumbersome controls make for a very poor play experience. Batman Forever, an average at best beat-em-up based on the movie, sort of. You face generic bad guys as opposed to Two-Face and the Riddler, and the hold on screen might just break you. Super Chase HQ, a unique racing title where undercover officers use a sports car to pursue and apprehend criminals. The first-person view from behind the wheel looks good and really conveys a sense of speed. Definitely worth a quick joyride. Up next we have Super Conflict. This is a strategic war simulation game where you position units on a hexagonal grid to achieve victory. Overall pretty fun game if you like strategy type games. Next, we have ESPN Speed World. This is a racing game, easily the best ESPN branded title, with responsive controls, decent music, and 15 different tracks to race on. This one's fully complete with the poster and everything. Time Slip. This is a run-and-gun shooter where you control Dr. Gilgamesh and destroy alien invaders from various time periods in Earth's history. An okay run-and-gun with serviceable music and sound. Wayne Gretzky and the NHLPA All-Stars. A horizontally scrolling hockey game that has a variety of options and modes, but ultimately misses the mark with how fast the players go in what seems like a very small ring. Chester Cheetah, Too Cool to Fool, a 1992 platformer where you control Chester to scour 5 stages of the Four Corners Zoo to piece parts of his motorcycle back together. It's a decent platformer. The Untouchables. You control Elliot Noss, whose assignment is to take down Al Capone in this run-and-gun shooter. Awkward to control in some shooting sequences, but a decent play experience overall. Cool World. Jack Deeps gets sucked into one of his own comic book creations in this 1993 action-adventure title based on the film. Jack's stiff controls and collision texture are terrible. Ugly visuals make you want to avoid this game. Arcana, 1992 RPG where you control the youthful spellcaster hero Rooks. It has memorable characters, compelling story, and satisfying strategic combat, which is great for a great RPG. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, an action platformer based off the movie where you control Frankenstein's monster. Cryptic puzzles and sprawling timed levels make this game a very hard pass. The Simpsons, Bart's Nightmare. Bart must achieve a passing grade by surviving 6 genre-bending dreamscapes. The result is a maddening gauntlet of survival. Skip this one if you can. World Heroes 2, which is a fighting game where 8 figures from history battle an alien invader. Has some sluggish frame rates and bad collision detection. Not the greatest fighter on the system. Radical Rex, an action platforming starring Rex the dinosaur to take down an evil wizard. Varied and unique levels and cool power-ups make this platformer not one to miss. Tecmo Super Bowl 3, the final entry in the 3 Tecmo Super Bowl games. While not as perfect as the first iteration, it does fix some elements of the second as you pursue your perfect team roster. Definitely worth a play.